Initially I had an idea of running a workshop that would explore some of the creative work that I've done using augmented reality. And the more I thought about that, the more it didn't sit very well with me. But one thing that kept resonating for me is the place where we're meeting today. And I looked a lot at Google Earth and maps and trying to sort of get a sense of this place. So when I started to travel overseas when I was in my 20s, there was no phones, everything was printed maps. And I'd travel and I felt okay. But now I feel this huge sense of anxiety when I travel. Like, if I don't know exactly and my phone doesn't tell me and the map doesn't register the same way that Google Earth has told me, I'm starting to have a problem with that.
Because all they do is this. Yeah. And if they don't have this, then they don't know where they are. And I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's already happening?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I totally agree with you. And I think, back to, so kind of, you're probably similar age to me. It's, I went travelling younger a lot in my 20s, and, you didn't have a mobile phone. My parents didn't have a phone. So I couldn't get in touch with anybody, so I was gone for like 10 months and gone.
There's probably some kind of chart that shows like people's need to be in control so much now, with the kind of development of technology within the past 10-20 years, so rapid, that people suddenly have all of these tools that are so accessible that they just suddenly can be in control of every aspect of their life.
I wonder too is who's monitoring what I'm doing. That's another aspect of it, is surveillance.
Yeah.
And quite often we don't think about that consciously because we're just doing. But who could be watching us? I mean, that's just being provocative.
Yeah.
It's supposed to give us freedom, but on one hand, it's actually taking that freedom away because we can be followed.
But also, you're taking away your thought processes as well, because driving 15 years ago, you'd get a map out before you go. I got to the point because I would stick post-it notes on the steering wheel so I knew the roads. So now I can go somewhere, put the sat nav on, and I've got no idea how to get there. But previously I'd put the post-it notes, and the next time I went, I would know how to get there.
I have many friends who choose days where they leave their phones at home, that kind of thing. But it's weird because it's such a big deal. It's like, oh my god, you've left your phone at home, how are you going to cope? And like, I'm glued to my phone and I know that. But I mean, even when I was like 10 years old, technology was still new. Like, I didn't grow up the first section of my life. Whereas if they were reliant on something in the first place, or even just taught both.
It's not a fail-safe, is it?
No, people think it is, and it's not.
I mean, in Australia we have the problem with coverage, that so much of Australia, that we don't have coverage at all. So if that scenario of going walking in the bush is real. And the other thing, like about the fail-safe, just a little story. I looked on Google Maps when we were in Turkey, and we were in Cappadocia, and I wanted to go to a Neolithic site called Çatalhöyük, which is near Konya. And I looked on the map and I went, that 2 hours?
So maybe sometimes people just like to follow and we fear that, but maybe that's part of human nature and that's okay?
Yes.
And we don't just need to glorify people who are trailblazers?
And the trail I was doing, I didn't know it before I started, but it weaved back and forth across the border. So every time I would cross it, I'd get a text from the network provider changing. And it was just a day of constant backwards and forwards, but the border is purposefully invisible. It's kind of keep both sides happy. It's kind of very obscure. No one knows exactly, or it's very hard to find it. So this kind of walking backwards and forwards as to kind of understand. It's like, oh, okay, it followed that river for a while, but then it jumped up this way, and it was a really, a really enjoyable way of kind of engaging with that as a different. Like, I wasn't relying on it for where I was going, but it was kind of informing me of.
Isn't that interesting? So it was intervening in a way in your walk and reminding you about those man-made
But I don't think us being in the water yesterday and a lot of people saying we're going to cross this other border and we have a right to be in this other place is that different from people saying these people are our problem, these people are not our problem. I mean, there's so much assertion and assumption there of right and ownership and identity, and that's a problem.
And Borderlands, and how, and within ourselves as well. So it's really very broad. But I thought if people do have things they'd like to contribute, we could make it some more collaborative work, and I can turn it into a video or some such thing. So, Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.